One of my favourite shots, Dad, of the entire documentary was when Stansfield scores the penalty, or it's after the game. I can't remember the exact timing, and then it moves to the Adam Stansfield name on the stadium. It was a real sort of.
I love the way they did that.
emotional
Do you know
moment.
when he took the penalty as well, and they did the documentary? It's almost like made it silent and freezed it afterwards, didn't it, to give that emotional side of it as well.
So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And last Friday, Birmingham City aired their brand new documentary on Amazon Prime called Brady and the Blues. Now, it's a 5-part series which covers a wide array of topics and really covers the last 2 years of Birmingham City since Knight had taken over. And it was really good. Had a real good perspective from different fans, the managers, the board, all different areas. In this video, we're going to discuss the documentary. So, Dad, you've seen all 5 episodes. What were your thoughts?
I thought it was brilliant. I love the way they've made it. You know, I was a bit concerned when it was coming out about how it would be, you know, how it would come across. But what I love about it is they've made it real. You know, they've you know, the city of Birmingham is represented as it is. You know, it's not trying to hide anything. You know, it's not airbrushing things. It's presented in a way where it's showing the city. The fans are brilliant in it, aren't they? You know, some of the fans. I mean, Brummy Joe, Samantha, and Alex.
Yes.
Pitt.
Well, we see them a lot on the coaches.
We do. Yeah, I mean, she wouldn't know who we are,
No.
but we've been on her coach a few times, haven't we? And you know, some those. Is it Mavis? And there's two
The ladies.
two brilliant as well.
Stole the show. They were hilarious.
And there's a few others as well. I can't remember their names, but the fans I think make it because they are very, very honest as well. There's also Cuddles as well, isn't there?
Cuddles, yeah.
But I think that the way that they've actually sort of got the fans and got their interaction into it, and their honest opinions as well about the club, I just thought it was so well presented, and I love the journey it takes you through as well, doesn't it? It takes you through the turmoil of the previous season, and it takes you through the progress and towards the end, and eventually finishing at Wembley, and the obviously record-breaking season. Fantastic.
It was fantastic. And I think that's why I said in my intro, Dad, we got loads of different perspectives because it was good because we heard from Tom Wagner and obviously Tom Brady, but we also heard from the fans. We also heard from, you know, like different parts of the community, what it meant to different people. It was just a real nice sort of narrative story that kind of followed through. And I thought what was really came across, because Tom Wagner addressed this at the end of it. He said, actually, we're back at default, I think he said, or something. We're back to where we started because we're back in the Championship. But actually, look how far we've came as a club, because it's not just about what league you're in. It's about the infrastructure and everything around the club, hasn't it? And what that documentary showed was, yes, it showed the relegation and it showed, you know, the elements of the club around that time when we had that real big area of turmoil. But it shows the winning mentality we now have. It shows what's going on behind the scenes. It shows what's actually happening at this football club. And, you know, it is truly fantastic. And I think, considering it's only been 2 years, I was watching it thinking, a lot's happened. We've been through a lot as a club, haven't we? Even in the last 2 years, let alone the last 15 years. So I thought that came across brilliantly. And it was great to hear a bit more from Tom Brady as well, because, you know, he's kind of been that... The ghost sounds negative because it seems like he's not doing anything and he's hovering in the background. And we know he has a big impact at the club, but he's almost that the person who's behind the scenes we don't get to see or hear that much from, isn't he? He's turned up to about 3 or 4 Blues games since he's sort of had that ownership in the club. But to hear from him in a bit more of a casual environment in terms of being on camera, I thought was fantastic. But
I think that's what it really did, didn't it? It showed us what Tom Brady, you know, what influence he's having as well. I thought I had to smile when I saw the first episode, because at the first episode it's like, you know, going sort of giving you PTSD, you know, post-traumatic PTSD, because it went back to that awful season when we sacked John Eustace, and then we suddenly... I love the way they did that as well. They showed the league table with the points, and then we started going drop, and then we had the Rooney appointment.
That was awkward though, wasn't it? I don't want to be exaggerating. I felt like it was a little bit painful to watch. When him and Brady were exchanging words and stuff, it was awkward.
You could clearly tell. I mean, Wayne Rooney. Let's get this out the way. Footballer-wise, he's one of the best, right? Ever.
If England.
Right. Yes, right. But manager-wise, he had no real credentials to come and take over our club. And that meeting between him and Tom Brady, when they're talking, you could tell that Rooney didn't want him there. and it was a really I felt awkward watching it.
Yeah, same.
I felt really awkward watching it, and as well, obviously, all Tom Brady says to him is I want to, maybe sort of give you a bit of guidance or help wherever I can in so many words, and then Wayne Rooney then he's saying, well, I'll bring you into the session. But when Wayne Rooney is talking, and you see the coaching session as well. You can see why he doesn't inspire people. I think he's just his personality and demeanour. He wouldn't fire up anybody, would he? I mean,
very charismatic.
Yeah. What I felt was really funny was when he was doing the coaching session, so the screen behind him, and then somebody walks in. Yeah. He says, "Do you want to take over?" As if like, you're the coach. You carry on doing it. That's what you do. But I just felt that whole interaction between Tom Brady and Wayne Rooney was very, very awkward. And obviously, I know that there's a lot of publicity about Tom Brady's comments in the car about I'm really worried about the work ethic of our coach. But he was just being honest because they had that conversation where Wayne Rooney was saying, don't really get here before 9 o'clock in the morning because it's dark in Birmingham or something like that. And Tom Brady go, I'll get get here at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's dark, and then I'd leave when it's dark as well. I think he's trying to get the point across. Yeah. But I thought, again, it's another example of showing you the real side of the cameras didn't really hide, what was actually happening there. But again, I don't know about the first episode, which was entitled "No Fear." It took us back, didn't it? And it did, and we were there for all the games they showed. We were there, and it took you back to like how bad it actually was, at that time. One thing I would say as well, which people don't see in the documentary, if anybody's watching this who's not a Birmingham City supporter, what they probably don't realise is when the owners came in, the one thing that they couldn't do anything about was the players.
No,
because at the time that the owners came in. They came in towards the end of July, there wasn't a huge amount of transfer window left, but the club position at that point in terms of FFP was really bad, so they couldn't bring any players in. So the relegation was partly as a result of the owners couldn't do anything about the players that were there at that time. That's no excuses because then they had openly admitted that they made the mistakes as well.
I think it openly confirms what a lot of Blues fans thought. That we had a lot of, would you say bad eggs, lazy people. We had a lot of players in that relegation season who didn't quite get the seriousness of the situation that we were in.
Yeah.
Whether it be through work ethic, whether it be through naivety or ignorance, I don't know or care. We're past that now. But clearly, our fears came true on the documentary, didn't it? That we did have a culture behind the scenes of maybe a little bit laziness, maybe a little bit of sort of too casual in a serious situation. I don't know what exactly I'm trying to really get at, but it was that thing where behind the scenes, we all know as a fan base something was wrong.
Yes.
And the documentary confirmed that something weren't clicking.
Yeah, it was. And what I like as well, Matt, is that the owners were honest about the mistakes, realising that they've made a mistake. And I think Tom Brady was talking about, we were told not to come in and do too much too quick, and we came in and we made loads and loads of changes. So they did take accountability for the mistake, and it's nice to hear that they've admitted to that and they haven't hidden behind it, and they've also move forward. So that first episode was a bit of a hard watch in terms of bringing back those memories, but it was very honest, I felt.
I just want to bring it back to the fans again, Dad, because I think it's really important. And how funny was it? Every Blues fan that featured, we're all a glass half empty, aren't we? Just as in by the nature of Birmingham City, and we've been hurt so many times over the years. It's well known that Birmingham City, we always wet the bed in big games, don't we? Just and all these different things, and the fan base embraced it and had a laugh with it. And I felt like some of the comments from some of the fans were just brilliant and genius, and we definitely represented, I think, the Birmingham City fan base really well on that documentary as a fan base, and I think that really tickled me that even as a fan base we haven't lost that Brummy sense of humour, and we haven't lost that sense of it's all going to go doomsday any minute. It was that vibe.
Yeah. I think that's the perception that they're trying to change, but that's just the way it is.
But if we didn't have that, Dad, it wouldn't have been authentic.
No, it was. I think that's a good word, authentic, because that's what I felt it was. That's what I really hoped it would be.
Yeah.
And it really was. The next episode then goes on to the turnaround. Mm-hmm. It's actually called Turn the Page, isn't it? And that's where it sort of features the Wrexham game as well. And that's an interesting one as well, because we all know about the publicity that game got at the time, but there's a bit of behind the scenes about David Beckham and Tom Brady and Rob Mack. I'll call him Rob Mack because he's changed his name to Rob Mack, hasn't he? From Wrexham. I thought
even Brady says whatever your name is because he can't even get it right.
Yeah. It was very, very good, and and that features Alfie May. Alfie May's in it quite a lot actually, and he came across very, very well as well. We know he's gone, but he came across well. Stano's, they said, didn't it, that at the beginning of that episode that Chris Davis said that the appointment of Alfie May was crucial. It's really important. We had to get Alfie May, which we did. At the time, it was absolutely brilliant. Obviously, we got the Stano one as well. I love the way they did that as well. They showed you the behind the scenes of the last day drama. We was all on tiptoe, weren't we? All that.
I was out with my mates in Birmingham, and I remember checking my phone every 20 seconds.
And they showed that fantastic video that Blues Media put out with where the camera turns and Jay Stansfield's behind it. That was absolutely fantastic as well. So I thought that was done very, very well.
What I will say, Dad, and a lot of Blues fans have addressed it as well. Again, Alfie May kind of leaves as a little bit of a hero over his just very short time at the club. You feel even more gutted he didn't just get to have that championship season, don't you? Because he talks about it. But as I say, we wish him all the best. But when I watched the documentary, I thought, I wish he would have had the chance to have one league season in the championship.
Again, not to go over old ground, but obviously he's got an extra year now at Huddersfield, so he's obviously looking after his family because he's 31, isn't he? So he's looking after his family, isn't he, as well? So good luck to him there as well. But it was good. He came across very, very well. And also as well, I felt it showed a very different side to Chris Davis as well, the documentary, in terms of things that we know him from his interviews, and he's very polished, isn't he, and very honest about the interviews. But, to see him the way he's with the players in the changing rooms. He's ruthless, isn't he?
I think he has the good balance of respect and fear and authority.
Yeah.
So the players do fear him in a healthy way that you should fear a football manager for making a big mistake or whatever that might be. But he also has a real soft, nurturing side to him as well. And I think, he comes across as a family man. I love the bits on this podcast. I'm sure you're going to get to that because you're going in order. Adam Stansfield and his dad, and I love the Chris Davies and his family. The sort of sentimental, heart-wrenching parts of the documentary
well, now you mention that, let's go on to that because that's the third episode. So the second episode is great in terms of it talks about the sort of the rebuild and the Wrexham game and the different sides to these different things. There's one scene in episode 2 which is really funny with Tom Brady and Tom Wagner in the car where they're talking about a gift bag.
Yes,
I found that really, really funny. He said we should give Beckham a gift bag, and then I think Tom Wagner rings Gary Cook at the time.
It's a faux pas.
He says, "Have we got like a swag bag?" And he goes, "Oh no, it's a bit of a faux pas. He won't want one. He can't show." And then Tom Brady's saying, "Oh, we need to give him something." And it's just quite amusing seeing the interaction between the two of them because we don't see this.
No. And Tom Brady's almost like, "That's ridiculous. We're going to get him something." And then Wagner goes even stern. He goes, "What do you want on the back of the jersey?" And he's like, "No, we're not going to get him a jersey. We'll just get him a goodie bag of like Birmingham City stuff." So I found that quite entertaining. I found that,
just the interaction was really, really fun. And at the time they're driving through, but I'm looking in the background, I can see all the Rainbow Pub. I know, they're in Digbeth and they're coming round and stuff like that. So that's quite good. And then episode 3, I thought this was one of my favourite episodes. This is episode 3. Was the Jay Stansfield going back to Exeter, and I love the way they've integrated his mom and his brother and the whole experience and of him going back to Exeter City, where his dad was, he's absolutely still is and always will be a cult hero there, and the stand's named after him. I thought it's almost like a lot of people say it was very emotional.
Yeah, one of my favourite shots, Dad, of the entire documentary was when Stansfield scores the penalty, or it's after the game. I can't remember the exact timing, and then it moves to the Adam Stansfield name on the stadium. It was a real sort of.
I love the way they did that. Do you know when he took the penalty as well? And the documentary, they almost like made it silent and freezed it afterwards, didn't it, to give that emotional side of it as well. That was really, really, really well done. And again, it shows us a bit more about Jay as well. About him and his personality, and he's still a young lad. He's had all that to deal with in his younger life. He looks like he's got a fantastic mom who supports him and
brother
and family. He come across very, very well in that as well.
We often talk about Bellingham, don't we, Dad, and how it's really apparent he has a good network and family of people around him. I think when you've got a good base and a family around you, you'll always be okay, won't you? And it's nice. I think what I took away from the documentary as well, Dad, is actually the players do listen. The players do take into consideration what people are saying on social media. In one regard, I was thinking, I hope me and Dad haven't upset any of the players on the podcast. And because seriously, it come across like they do take it on board. In fact, Alfie May in episode 2, Dad, was giving himself a real hard time. Was it episode 2? When he was going through that goal drought. Maybe it was episode a little bit later on in the podcast.
I think it is episode 4. That is, I think.
So it's, he was giving himself a really tough time so it made me realise actually. You do have to hold players to account. You do have to hold the manager to account. You can't be nice all the time, but it really hit home for me how much they do absorb and how much they do take in, and they clearly do go on social media and they do listen to the noise. So again, I think for me it was just that thing of they are human beings.
Yes, they are, and it's good for us to see that as well, see that side of them, to make this, So we can, as football fans, get very emotional,
Of course we can,
very
yeah.
reactive, but we've got to also bear in mind that these people are human beings as well. And so, as much as we love our club and passionate about our club, I think on the podcast we try and be as honest as possible, but we don't try and destroy people.
No, of course not,
but we are honest, I believe.
If someone has a bad game, Dad, they know they've had a bad game, and then it needs calling out, because how are you going to improve?
Yeah, but there's no point
I get called out
destroying
if I have a bad day at work.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
A football game is a footballer's day at work, isn't it? So, it's that thing.
No, it's really good, isn't it? The way that we saw this human side of people, which I thought was really good as well. Episode 4 was a good one as well. I say good one. They're all good episodes as well. This is one that where it goes into us starting to really sort of like push on in the league, and also the Newcastle game as well. Which I thought was
Newcastle are a top Premier League club. Oh, someone made it onto the podcast.
But it was. I love the way they did that as well, and and
what featured you?
No, not featured me. No, the way that they portrayed the FA Cup about how important the FA Cup is, and what it meant to us to play a Premier League team, and also the atmosphere. And it came across a Tomoki Iwata goal. One thing I liked as well was Tom Brady was watching it. Is in Miami or something?
He was somewhere, wasn't he?
And he said to his son, "Oh, we've called," and he sent the goal to his son, didn't he? He was actually saying, "Well, watch this," and he's having this interaction with his son. Yeah. Something else that made me laugh about the documentary as well, which is really, really funny. They show like a scene of Birmingham. Cloudy, murky. Then suddenly there'll be a beach, and they go over to Tom Brady, in the Caribbean or the Caribbean or Florida or Miami or whatever. And I thought again that shows the contrast, doesn't it, as well? Which
and the kind of life he lives.
Yeah,
it's authentic.
Yeah,
it shows that we all know Birmingham can be dark and gloomy, but Tom Brady lives the. The life of
he does. But what I liked about the Tom Brady as well, you can see that he's watching the games, and you can see he gets really emotionally involved in the games as well. So when we score, and he's obviously swearing when they score and stuff like that. So that was good. So I love the episode 4. And then episode 5 was the mainly
promotion at Wembley, right?
Yeah.
What was great, Dad, before we get into the Wembley, and obviously we know what happened there, it was great to see. We saw this anyway because they released it earlier, but Chris Davies at Peterborough away, because we can vouch for that. That was got to be one of the best away ends ever. Yeah. It was absolutely, the whole stand was bouncing for the whole 90 minutes. We got promoted, and you saw Chris Davies, you've earned this. I'm not going to say it because he swears a lot. You've earned this.
Go and enjoy it.
Yeah, go enjoy it. And then it just shows you what's happening in those huddles.
Yeah.
And really, really great. And again, I felt I was watching it, and because we're at these games, and Blues fans were so invested in what goes on, it did feel quite emotional at different times, didn't it?
It was good. Like I say, it did what it's supposed to do. It gave us an insight into things that we wouldn't normally see. Yeah. Now, one thing that going on to Wembley, what I thought was absolutely hilarious, you could tell when we'd lost. Tom Wagner and Tom didn't want to be there, but how long we got to stay? and then as they were leaving, they said, we've been polite enough now, let's go. This was because obviously they were behind where the trophy was being presented, but as representatives and the owner and the representatives of the club, they had to stay there for the presentation for Peterborough, and they must have been. They hate losing, don't they? And one thing I thought was really, really interesting as well, Matt, was there was a lot of media coverage of Tom Wagner talking to the players after, and a lot of the media was saying he shouldn't have told the players off. But when you listened to it, he didn't tell the players off at all.
No, he didn't. No,
because we actually heard in that documentary what he actually did. He was encouraging them, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was saying that he was being very honest about the fact that we obviously didn't like it, but
and he also said we're going to have fun tonight.
Yeah,
so it was still, even though we lost, and that was one of the worst days of the season. Like, it was still, you've still got to the final, you've still got promoted, you are still on at that point at the cusp of a record-breaking season. You've still had a fantastic year.
Yeah,
everyone loses a football game from time to time. Dad, it's football. Man City lose games. Brazil in their prime lost games. You lose football games, but the fact is, I really enjoyed that part of the documentary because again, it showed the human side to it. It showed what he said. Because it was a guesswork up until that point. And this shows the power of the media, doesn't it? And the power of social media. Everyone twisted that to this American greedy owner who was, traumatising his players, so to speak. That's kind of how they framed it.
Yeah,
and actually, it wasn't like that.
But the documentaries corrected that, and it's actually because obviously it shows you exactly what it was said and how he did it. So it's it's more encouraged.
My point in saying that is that don't believe everything you read on social media and the news.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Which is why these documentaries are so good because they're actually giving you the real side of him. But overall, Matt, I mean, I've got to say, thought the documentary, all 5 episodes were absolutely fantastic. I know it's going to get mixed views from fans from other clubs because that's just football rivalry, isn't it? You know, fans are going to not like it for various reasons. That's okay with them as well. Tom Brady, for me, he came across, as somebody who really, I think, wants to really, do very, very well with the club. So I think he came across for me somebody who, like you mentioned before we saw this documentary. We weren't 100% sure what he did, but now if you've got any doubts about whether he's invested in the club or not, just watch that documentary.
Absolutely.
He clearly is. And Tom Wagner, I mean, brilliant, isn't he? He just so...
And on that note, Dad, I want to end it on Tom Wagner to an extent and say, what I really enjoyed about, I think it was episode 1 actually, he spoke about the changing culture and he spoke about, it's a direct quote, he said, we need to rebuild the culture, the physical infrastructure and the product on the pitch, and we need to get a winning mentality. That goes from changing the way you win games to how you clean the stadium.
Yes.
Again, he's implementing it through every single area of how you clean the stadium is how you enforce a winning mentality, apparently. But it's that thing, isn't it, of the standards that you carry throughout every level of the club, no matter what you are. If you're an employee of Birmingham City or you are representing the club in any way, you are a champion, you are a winner. And the way he went about that, changing that culture for me, was really a powerful moment in the documentary.
Yeah, just one final point for me, Matt, is that I would have liked to have seen more about Yuki because it was his last season at the club.
I reckon Yuki would have said, "Don't make it about me," but I could be wrong on that.
Okay, well,
but you're right.
He was in the documentary, but he wasn't really featured at all. No. Maybe just to say, it's his last season. But you may be right, actually. He may well have said, I think he might have.
But I would like to have seen that as well.
Yeah, and notice as well, there was no mention of the sports, very little mention of the sports quarter or the pro transfer, which is good because obviously it suggests there's a bit of maybe a carrot for a season 2, which I think will happen. I think there'll be.
And also as well, Dad, that you don't want those elements to dominate the conversation. You want it to be about Brady and the Blues and the winning mentality and all the history that we've had. I say history, the past 2 years, that we've had. And I think if you start talking about the stadium, it takes the light off everything else that's happened, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it gives you something to... in 5 episodes, how could you... There's so much that always gone on at Blues. How could you possibly get absolutely everything? But I think they did everything. It was a journey, wasn't it? The journey from relegation through to going down to League One, through to promotion and Wembley. It was done very, very well, and I was, I learnt a lot from it in terms of, thinking, that's interesting, interesting. So, great, and I look forward to season 2.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds good. So, as always, Birmingham City supporters, we would love to hear from you. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, and we're also over on Spotify, so you can listen and watch us over there as well. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do subscribe and press that bell notification so you get notified every time we post. And myself and Dad will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.